ahead and plug my okie dokie Minecraft. Oh, okay. Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. If you hear me sniffing, it's because I have been sneezing non-stop for days. So if you, and I'll try to edit all of them out, but if you hear any sniffs, I am terribly sorry. So today's video is our Halloween special, and it is also our very first Minecraft video. I should have kept me off. Oh, that's through my speakers. So, as you can see, here's a giant glass pumpkin. When you first come into town, on your right, there are the first three houses are just houses that people live in. And then on the left, the very first house on the left, it's 2 stories. That is the mayor's house. And he's the only person in town who isn't a farmer. And that's why farming is such a big part of this town, why Harvest Day is such a big holiday in town, is because, you know, everyone's harvesting at the same time, so they've decorated the towns with pumpkins. Look, you'll see their flag. It's actually supposed to be the flame inside of a jack-o'-lantern. That's like their flag, so it's very important to them in this town. And later on in the video we'll actually get to the maze, which is like the main point of this video. It's the grand finale, I suppose. And so, right now I'm just showing the other parts of town. We've got Farmer Hayes' hay bale sale. And so he sells all sorts of crops and tools and stuff. And then I'm looking at one of his scarecrows. Here's another scarecrow over by the pumpkin patch. And then in front of the pumpkin patch, there's Heather, the panda. And then in front of the pumpkin patch, we're having a pumpkin carving contest. Here is Mr. Maze's Amazing Maze, and this is where you're gonna buy your tickets to go into the maze. Also in town is Wheatley the cowboy. He works over here at the petting farm. He works over here at the petting zoo, and it's called Wheats Bleats. Video. What a cute little harvest town. How adorable. Just as a side note, in part of this video you're going to see different texture packs. I'm not going to spoil it, but you're going to see something, and I decide at that moment that it looks better in the original texture, so I change it. So don't be confused if part of this video is in one texture pack and then the other part is in the other, because that's just, you know, it got weird. And this is, if you notice the chickens are like different, that's the texture packet. If you've never seen it before, it takes a minute to get used to, but at this point I've decided that like it just looks better in general, so I like use it throughout half of this video. What's funny is I actually did part of this in the Seasons texture pack, and then I switched to this more realistic texture pack, and then I switched to the default texture pack. Like, I just kept switching. Here we are walking to the front gates of the maze. It says, am I pausing? Okay. It says, "Enter here if ye dare. Victors only shall exit." And so, and then tickets sold in office 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. The idea is this is a giant maze that they work on all year long for the harvest, and the point is to get from one end to the other and exit out, and that's. Now we're gonna have Heather go through the maze. This is why I didn't let her actually participate in most of the build, because I wanted to surprise her with the maze. Since it's like the main point of this build, I was like really excited to make this maze, because like I think it looks really cool. I didn't realize like she's using that Seasons texture pack. Like in the beginning especially, you're gonna see her like stumble around a whole bunch, because the texture pack she's using, for some reason, it like has really tall grass everywhere, just everywhere. So like I didn't realize it at this point, but to me, like, the ground looks completely flat. To her, she's just, like, walking through, like...
leaves everywhere.
Like, human height grass.
I could not see anything. It's just leaves.
Throughout the entire maze. And so, I'm like, man, why are you stumbling around like you're blind? But then I realized, or actually I just looked at her screen and then I was like, oh, that's what you mean. I was like, I only see like 2 pieces of grass in front of you. So, just to make things easier, since it doesn't look it from above, but like when you're down in it, even with like the default texture pack, like it really does look like you can only see like a few blocks ahead of you. So what I do is I'm like, you can use something to mark your space, and so she pulls out what are they called?
Sea lantern?
Sea lanterns. She pulls out those sea lanterns and starts marking her path with those, just to make it easier, because like from above it really doesn't look difficult, but when you're down in it, even me, I built it, but like when I was walking through it, like there was a few places where even I got confused, because like it's very tight quarters down there. So we're gonna watch Heather
get hopelessly lost.
Oddly enough, I think this confused you a bunch. It's just like an exit right here. I mean, like an entrance right here and then an exit right there, but I've got like a loop. And like you walked around it like 3 different times.
I'm terrible at mazes.
Well, I think it was just like the loop confused you. Because like, it's harder to block off one dead end when like the whole thing is like one continuous route.
Mm.
And then also, like, at this point, like, I realized I had sort of, even though it was, like, great atmospherically to put, like, trees everywhere, I realized that, like, there were going to be huge chunks of this maze that I just wasn't going to be able to see her walking around in because of the trees everywhere. Though I will say, this maze looks, was it still spring in here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so she had the seasons texture pack on, which means that the trees change colors in the seasons. And so she was still on spring. Even though this is like a fall-themed town, her pack was still on spring. And so like a lot of these trees were like pink for her. And that sort of ruins the atmosphere, because I went through the trouble of like making the entire thing out of dark oak leaves because I want it to be all spooky, and then she just sees like bright pink like plants everywhere and plants all around her in this spooky Harvest Day maze. Oh no, Heather, don't walk that direction.
I'm terrible at mazes. I'm good at confusing myself.
Heather's lost forever. I've lost Heather underneath that giant tree. That giant, beautiful pink tree. See right here, you got right here and put down that lantern. And then like we're like, oh, the sun is setting, so let's sleep. And then you sleep right there. And then like right at your head, you could just go down that pathway. And that was like the correct pathway. And I was like, yeah, Heather's almost done. and then when we wake up, you just like go somewhere completely different.
You're like, I had no idea where I was going.
You're like, all right, let's go back to the entrance. Goodbye. Watching from above, I was like, I wonder if she's going down this path because she thinks it's gonna get back to the start. Because I was really surprised she didn't notice something in the sky that we will see in a minute. But I'm surprised she never commented on it, because I was expecting her to be like, why is that up there in the sky?
I never looked up.
Yeah, and I was just gonna be like, oh, don't mind that. That's just nothing.
I was just like, how do I escape from this?
It's like I'm a what do you call him, a zoologist or whatever. I'm just watching a panda in its natural habitat.
With no sense of direction.
Yes, this is actually our very first episode in an ongoing series where we force Heather to go through mazes.
Oh no.
At this point, I was like, stop, Heather, wait a second. I want to follow you down this path. No reason in particular. I just want to see where you're going. And then she was like, what's this? And I pushed her down in it. Oh no, Heather, what is this? What are we looking at? Surely this wasn't expected. Oh, what could this be? Welcome to Shroomville. So yes, this is the big surprise. For just a second there, you saw the witch's face, and like it was like she didn't have a face. So at this point, I go in and change it back to the default texture pack. Here is Oscary. This is the mayor's. This is in front of the mayor's house, and that's the mayor's cat. Here's the mayor. Her name is Mayor Magic. And so this is inside the mayor's house. It's supposed to be like a sort of like a mirror world of the world above. And so the houses are set up the same. The first three buildings on the right are houses, and then the first house on the left is the mayor's house, and that's the upstairs is where the mayor works. And then here is Ms. Bones' bouquets. And so these are the nether flowers, I think they're called. And they're fenced in because they'll hurt people if like you touch them. So I fenced them in. But the idea is that she makes bouquets out of the spooky flowers. And this is Miss Fright.
Was it a wither rose?
Yeah, it was actually called the Wither Rose. Here's inside one of the houses. Here's some spooky stuff. And then here is Misery's Fright's Future Sights. Walk-ins welcome. And that's a joke because, a future seer would know when you're coming. And so it's like, you can just walk in anytime. She'll be expecting you. And then if you look, here's a little, Easter egg, I guess, is Ms. Bones' Bouquets is open from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., which is the exact same time that the maze is open. And so the idea is that they're connected. If you actually, the two towns are connected through the portal in the maze. And if you look, the trees in the maze are like dark oak and oak. And the only wood you'll find in the Halloweeny Shroomville, I've called it, is dark oak, basically. And that's because, like, they come up through the portal and they harvest wood in the portal. The spiders like to ride the walls. They like to climb up the walls, and that spider was born with a skeleton on its back, and it just like... Okay, goodbye, skeleton. Go back to the sign. Okay, and here's the sign. It says Zap's Petting Zoo. Watch out, they bite. Sort of like a reverse world kind of. And that's why I decided on the red terracotta, because red is the opposite of green on the color wheel. So I was like green grass, red terracotta, and so it made sense in my mind. You notice all three cats in this village are tuxedo instead of black, and that's because like I didn't spawn any cats, like they just spawn naturally. I think it's because it was like directly below the town, like the computer, the algorithm of Minecraft like counted it as the town, and so like they had, when I started building below, it was like it registered it as more of the town for some reason. And so like I have like 20 cats upstairs, and then I've got 3 tuxedo cats downstairs, and I just didn't have the heart to like kill any of the cats and replace them with black cats. So this town just has, even though it's witches, they have tuxedo cats instead of just pure black cats, because I didn't have the heart to kill 3 Oscars. And Oscar is Heather's cat in real life. He's a black and white cat. I think we could like include a picture of him on the screen or something. And so, oh goodness, Miss Bones just got stuck in the spider web. We're just gonna end this video with me walking through the maze by myself. At first I'm like, oh yeah, I got this, and then I like immediately run into a dead end.
So it was nothing but leaves.
And then here is the entrance. And then right here I actually show the exit, only the brave exit here or whatever. It's like you can't actually get there. Nothing to see here. That's not a strange black beacon in the sky. That's just that's just what happens when you go into a maze. Sometimes there's just strange aurora borealises in the sky. Thank you for watching, everybody. That's the end.